don't see as a person in your life. Because if you do, they're going to drain your emotional energy, and you've got far too much precious energy to give to that. So find their humanity. There's someone that drains your emotional energy, find their humanity, and bring that back to them. So because we only have 3 relationships, folks. We have broken ones, thin ones, and thick ones. The broken ones you make thin by how you see the person, how you give them a chance, how you see the world. The thin ones you make thick as much as possible. That's the emotional dimension of energy. The emotional dimension of energy moving forward is, well, I'll show you the slide, is to see people as people. And remember to be kind, because everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle somewhere in their life. Emotional dimension of energy, moving forward, see people as people wherever you can. The brain, mental. This is my favorite subject of all. It drives me nuts and it fascinates me at the same time. Here's your task, little mental gymnastics. Read the color, not the word. Read the color, not the word. Is your brain going, ah? It should be, because you're having an arm wrestle. The corpus callosum is having an arm wrestle. Your right hemisphere is saying, it's the color, I love the color, say the color, say the color. The right hemisphere is going, no, it's the word. It's the word you've got to say. Say the word, say the word. Color, word, color, word. Well, sometimes we don't have a choice when it comes to how we choose to see how our brain works. But I'm fascinated by the human brain. I'm fascinated by how it works and how it doesn't work. And I'm fascinated by how we know so much about it, yet we actually know very little about it. We actually know nothing about the brain. When you think of uncharted territory, it's like space. We know a couple of stars, we know a couple of constellations, but there's stuff out there that we have no idea. Have you seen the video of the older man with Parkinson's who's got a really bad shuffle? It's a physio video. He's got a really bad Parkinson's shuffle like this. He can barely walk. In fact, the physio tries to cue him with a foot step over. He actually falls down. So he's really, really serious. They take him out to the parking lot of the clinic, put him on a bicycle, and push him off. I'm watching this video going, what, are you crazy? He's going to fall. He bikes down the parking lot. You've got to see this video, it's fascinating. Bikes down the parking lot, pedals, pedal, turns around, comes back up the hill, gives a little extra push because he's got to go going up a hill, pedals up, hops off the bike, and he's frozen up again. Now, I don't know how that works, but I know 2 things. I'm starting to lose my voice as a motivational speaker, and that's driving me nuts. So I know that I can sing better than I can speak because my left hemisphere is affected. So that's speech, but I can sing from my right hemisphere. So I can sing better than I can speak. And when I lose my ability to walk, I'm going to bicycle. So in 10 to 15 years, with your indulgence, if you have me back, I will be bicycling on the stage giving you my speech in song. Will you have me back? That's how the mind works, and I don't get it, but I'm going to play it. Like Bob says, just play it. Play it. Shake hands and play it. So there's the thing. I want to share with you a particular mindset, if you will, a particular thought or a pattern of ideas around the whole notion of mental living well. How do you derive joy juice from your mindset? And it's based on the 1090 principle. The 1090 principle goes something like this. Life can be seen as 10% event. Stuff happens to you. You're stuck in traffic, you get married, you get divorced, your kids do well in school, you do poorly in school, you have a car accident. Life happens, you can't stop that. That's just events that go down. You know what I'm saying? Life can be seen as 10% of what's happening to you. But 90% about how you think about it. How you think about that 10%. Mental living well. And within that 90%, what if there's really only 2 choices? There's the attitude of gratitude, or what I call stinking thinking. Within your mindset. The story I'd like to share with you is a story of how I basically came out of my little blue funk. In diagnosis with 2005, in the July of 2006, I re-met Andrea. Andrea was my girlfriend 18 years ago. We got back together. And that was in July. By October of that year, I realized I was getting kind of serious, and I had to tell her that I have a chronic disease. My stinking thinking little mind said that's going to be a deal breaker. She's not going to want to spend the rest of her life with me because I'm going to be, my worst case scenario. Never read that stuff, eh? Read all the stuff about that. It's terrible to read that stuff. The wheelchair, the drool, the whole scene, right? And I thought she's going to read something somewhere about that. She's going to be a deal breaker. So I told her, and she said the equivalent of, so what, now what? We got married July 7, 707. Lucky day, apparently. And we tried for a baby. And we had no luck with that. We actually had tried for in vitro in May of 2008. No luck with that, so we ended up getting a puppy. It's a barking baby, believe me. It does the trick. It does the trick. It poops everywhere too, just like a baby. So we got a baby. We took the baby home in September long weekend of 2008. Then I got the 10% event. This 10% event happened to us. It was a phone call from my wife's twin sister. What my wife's twin sister had been up to up until that phone call was she found out about a baby that was being born to a 16-year-old mom, a 16-year-old teenage mom, somewhere in Nova Scotia, and she found out about this. And the birth mom was looking for parents to adopt the baby outside the system on her own. My wife's twin sister wrote a profile of us, submitted it to the birth mom. The birth mom reviewed it and approved us to be the adopted parents. And then, we didn't know any of this. Then we got a phone call, 10% event. It's going down. Here's the phone call. Pete, Andy, how you doing? Good. If a baby dropped in your lap, would you keep it? What? If a baby dropped in your lap, would you keep it? There's a baby being born, folks. 10% event's going down. Now, what do we got left? We got our 90% of what we're going to do with that, right? How we're going to think about it. Well, my wife, woo, she's gone. She's out of here. I'm going, oh my gosh. I was kind of teasing like this, a little stinking thinking, not so much stinking thinking. And I started my stinking thinking journey when we went to the social worker. And the social worker said, I should let you know that 50% of the birth moms that make an adoption plan will change their mind after the baby's born. My little stinking thinking started going like this. Once you get stinking thinking on, folks, your antenna's up, right? It's looking for other stuff. It's looking around for other stuff. I got some more evidence. The birth dad gave the birth mom a ring. I didn't know which hand, but it didn't matter because I had stinking thinking. I bought the crib, took the crib home, set it up, kept the box and the receipt. Then the big stinking thinking part came for me was when we had to disclose our medical history. Now you want to know the medical history of the birth mom and the birth dad. Diabetes, heart disease, stuff that might affect the kid as the kid goes older. But they wanted to know our medical history. And I thought to myself, what does a 16-year-old girl know about Parkinson's? At the very best, she's probably seen Michael J. Fox on Oprah. And when he was on Oprah, did you see him? He was pretty dyskinetic, wasn't he? He was swinging around, doing the whole show, doing the Parkinson's boogie, I call it, Parkinson's boogie. And I thought to myself, what does she know about that? She's going to think I'm going to drop the baby. It's going to be a deal breaker in my small, stinking thinking mind. I told her, she said the equivalent of, so what, now what? And Hannah was born November the 28th. Now, in Nova Scotia, the law says you can't take the baby home immediately because they have to wait for 2 weeks so the birth mother can change her mind. Boop, 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 boop. But on December the 16th, I was driving down. It was a dark, I remember the day. It was a dark and dingy day. We picked the baby up from the foster care family. My wife's in the back seat, my baby's in the front seat. And I was driving down the street, and I started to tear up with joy. Because I realized no matter how much stinking thinking I had, it didn't make any difference in the end, because the joy was still there. My stinking thinking got so bad, I actually wrote a country song. Do you want to hear it? Okay. I got stinking thinking on the road to Pity City. That's all I got. I'm working on it. But my question is this. I'm a proud dad with a little girl. She's home. She's going to be 2 years old next month. And she's the joy of my life. But the funny thing is, right? The funny thing is, she was going to be born no matter what I thought. That 10% of it was going to happen. And I look back and say, why did I spend all that the mental energy on stinking thinking? So here's my question. Where, oh yeah, it's kind of like stinking thinking was like, there was joy all around me, right? There was a birth mom that said that we were the parents. There's a baby being born. There's joy. There's family bliss. My parents were ecstatic because they thought I'd never get married and settle down. And there was this joy all around me, but my stinking thinking was like I was sitting on it, sitting on joy. And it was lifted, not by me, not by my change of attitude, but by the circumstance. So here's my question for you folks. Where is your stinking thinking still making you sit on your joys? Is it your attitude towards your condition? Is it your attitude towards other people? Is your stinking thinking towards the circumstances and events? And there's lots of different stinking thinking possibilities. There's blame, there's excuses, there's guilt, worry, and fear. Those are the big 5 stinker thinkers. So where is your stinking thinking making you sit on joy? Because life's too short, folks. Live well, move forward, but get rid of your stinking thinking. Would you like to see a picture of her? We kept the dog. We kept the dog and I recycled the box for the kid. Now, once you get in this gratitude attitude thing, or stinking thinking thing, but I'm on top of the gratitude attitude, this whole notion of gratitude. Once you start that mindset, it's almost like you can't unsee it. Like you start seeing the world as a gift. I actually have another talk that I do. It's called The Gift of the Hit. My hit is Parkinson's. I have a 1-hour talk called The Gift of the Hit, because the Parkinson's has been the greatest blessing of my life. Bar none. My life has changed forever. It's a good thing. Well, I won't give you the sad story, but I was a lonely bachelor before all this Parkinson's stuff happened, and now I got kids in the family. Oh, it's crazy. But anyway, there's a gift of the hit. So once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I want to give you a little quiz, a little test, a little way to get you to seeing things. In this image, this is a courier company, right? In this image, there's another image embedded within the image. Can you find out what it is? Can you see it? Can you see the image? I'll make it a little bigger for you. How's that? Does that help? This FEDEX is there, but what else is there? What is that? The arrow. Do you see the arrow? Do you see the arrow? I'll make it bigger. Do you see the arrow? Okay, how about now? Do you see the arrow? Do you see it now? Do you see it now? Now, wherever you go and you see a FedEx truck riding down the street, you're going to do I want you to do two things will happen. One, you'll see there's that damn arrow. That's that thing. But I want you to ask yourself a question. How is my stinking thinking that day? Have I found the gratitude for my life, or am I in stinking thinking mode whenever you see that little truck going by? And no, I'm not getting any commission from FedEx. Mental living well forward, folks. Mental living well moving forward means to choose your perspective. Choose your perspective. I'm suggesting attitude of gratitude, but if you want to have a pity party and go to Pity City, that's okay too, because it's a beautiful place. There's lots of people there. You know who I'm talking about. Oh yeah, my mother-in-law. Yeah. Mental living well. Spiritual living well, this is our last dimension of energy. Spiritual living well is our higher purpose. When I first met Bob in Glasgow, and I was fascinated by the Parkinson's quilt project. It's an incredible quilt that people all around the world have made and put together this incredible quilt. My personal favorite is the Live in La Vida, I can't even say it. Live in La Liva Dopa. It's Live in La Vida Dopa inside. You know that song? That's my personal favorite. But it's got to do with you folks. The spiritual living well, serving something greater than yourself, is a life journey. And it's the only thing that I can think of spiritually that will take you beyond what you've got. And to share with you some thoughts and ideas around this, I want to reflect back to the World War II when there was concentration camps. Because having Parkinson's is like being in a jail. The prison walls might close in on you, the doors might become a little darker, and you might feel a little bit of a cramping, a confining, if you will, because of the physicalness of the condition. And there's windows of hope, there's rays of hope, there's research, incredible stuff that's happening with Dr. Honey and all that stuff, all the stuff we talked about yesterday. But the truth is, the people that make it out of jail are the people that have the mindset of serving something greater than themselves. My reference book for this is a book by by Viktor Frankl. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. And he was a psychologist in concentration camps, a Jewish psychologist in concentration camps. And he wanted to know why some people, who were all fed the same and treated the same, why some people survived concentration camps and other people perished when they were given exactly the same conditions. And he found out that the only reason that people made it out of the concentration camps by the time the Allies come to pick them up was because they had something beautiful still left to do. They had something beautiful still left to do. One guy was a violinist, he wanted to play a concert. One lady had a garden, she wanted to weed a garden. They had something beautiful left to do, something greater than themselves left to do. So I want to echo what Bob said earlier about getting involved. Share. Super walks, support groups, research, families, getting involved in research is fantastic. And educate the public. The public's pretty ignorant about what's going on. Speak up, advocate, agitate democracy, and sign the pledge, folks. There's a 1 million per signature pledge that's being waited for. There's a 1 million, they're asking for 1 million signatures on the Parkinson's pledge by 2013 when the Parkinson's Congress goes to Montreal. Go online, parkinsonspledge.org. Send your friends, send everybody you can, sign the pledge. Let's get 1 million hits in 3 years. Can we do that? Why not? Get your church groups involved, get your social groups involved, get everybody sign the pledge, and the pledge is very political and very edgy. And finally, folks, create. Always create something that's a beautiful gift greater than you. Because when you create, you celebrate a wonderful quote, and it goes something like this. We had that wonderful pianist last night. He's obviously good with the piano, but I want to share with you the fact of life, folks, that everyone, and I mean everyone, has an instrument to bring to the vast orchestra of humanity. Whatever your instrument is, keep playing strong and celebrate your dash. Have you seen the dash poem? The dash is that little thing that we call life, right? I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on her tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of her birth, and he spoke the following date with tears. But he said that what mattered most was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that she spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved her know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love, and how we spend our dash. The poem continues. I'll leave it up to you to Google it, and find out the dash. I want to share with you some dash people. This is a fellow from the early 1800s who changed his life because he thought he was dead. He's a munitions manufacturer. He actually invented dynamite. He's a very rich man. There was an industrial accident where his brother Emile was killed. He killed in the factory. The French newspapers published his obituary by accident. Wouldn't that be cool to see what people thought of you? Maybe. The French obituary started off by saying, "Le marchand de mort est mort." The merchant of death is dead. Because his job was to make guns and weapons and bombs. He decided to change his life and change the quality of his dash. And he set up a little prize to celebrate humanity. Perhaps you've heard of his name. Alfred Nobel. Here's a pretty cool dash. I like her dash. This guy's got a pretty cool dash. Now, for the care partners and for you, I want to focus a little bit on the care partners and the health professionals and the Parkinson's Society staff to help us celebrate our life. Because, folks, there's a quote that I want to share with you. I had the good fortune to travel to the country of Nepal and follow my hero's footsteps, and I made it all the way to the bottom of Mount Everest. Thank you very much. Get to the bottom. When I got there, I realized that for Severin Hillary to get to the top of the world, that was his success. It took 350 guides carrying 10 tons of gear for 3 months to get him to the top of the mountain. When I look out at this sea of shining faces and I see the care partners, the Parkinson's staff, the board members, the researchers that have been sharing with us, the health partners, the nurses, the physios, all the people that's helped us out, they are our unsung heroes. I would like the folks with Parkinson's to give them some applause right now. Because folks, even though you might get paid, and even though you chose this to be a calling, it's true that you make a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you give. So thank you so much on behalf of me and all of us for giving out to us the hope and possibilities of a future with or without Parkinson's. Physically, as Lady Godiva says, I'm drawing near to my close. Physically, lighten up, emotionally, see people as people whenever possible, mentally, choose your perspective, and spiritually, serve a higher purpose. Now, I mentioned to you that I had the good fortune to travel some various countries, and I got to the country of Italy, and I actually went to the Vatican, and I had an audience with the Pope. There was 20,000 20,000 of us all at once, but I was in an audience with the Pope. I got into the archives of the Vatican, and I actually found the questions that St. Peter's asked us when we get to heaven. You thought you just walked in? Doesn't work so good like that. There's actually 3 interview questions that St. Peter's will ask you at the gates of heaven. They are as follows. You ready for them? To see how you're doing in your life so far. Did you find joy? Did you give joy? And last but not least, multiple choice. Who's the best band, Beatles or the Stones? Stones, Beatles, yeah. I think they're both right answers, so that's okay. Folks, it's been a great honor to share with you. I want to close off with this little card. Please take this card home as a gift from me to you. Thank you so much for inviting me out here. I want to close with this quote, so that'll be my final thoughts. And we're just a titch over time, but people can still check out, I'm sure. Okay? I want to close with this card. Please take it home. If there's extras on the table, take it to give to a friend. Extra noses, take to give to a friend. Extra anything, take to give to a friend. Don't forget to download the goodies on the website as well. There's a whole thing in the back about thanking you from the point of view of my baby daughter Hannah, which by the way means to get the gift of a child from God, which I think is a pretty cool name. In fact, it says this: babies like my daughter Hannah represent hope and promise for the future. May we always cherish our innocence, believe in the best, and delight in one another as we play and work together, celebrating life and its infinite possibilities for love. To my friends living with Parkinson's, daily and firsthand, I honor your courage, your strength, and your grace. To our loving family members, our care partners, and other dedicated professionals, we honor your compassion, your commitment, and your patience. We are not alone. It's kind of beautiful, isn't it? Yes, I'm a guy who cries, it's true. We are not alone. Thank you for being our unsung heroes. So let me share with, yeah, okay, I'm good. Let me share with you this closing quote. This is my dedication quote to everybody for coming out today. Success by Walpole Emerson. Success is to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, to find the best in others, and to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, a disease cure, or a redeemed social condition. To play with enthusiasm and sung with exaltation, and to have teenagers like this to survive them. To know that even one life has breathed easier because you've lived, this is to have succeeded. Ladies and gentlemen, move forward with courage, move forward with hope, but most of all, move forward together. Thank you.
So here we are.
And if you're happy, you know.
You did that.
Let's get that.
I promised you this morning
I want my bag.
cheers and inspiration and insight. And I want to thank you, Peter and Bob, for living up to that promise.
Thank you.
And don't forget, this
I want my
is where you
bag.
travel.
I want my bag. I saw these, everyone's getting a bag. I want my bag. That's great. Thank you so much. It's a great gift. Thank you.
Thank you. What I would like to do in closing, I can't top this, can I? So I would only once again like